All right, today we're going to talk about vertex form. At the top of your papers, you're going to see a bunch of rules. This is vertex form. This is something that you're going to be given on your EOC reference sheet, so it's not a formula you're going to have to memorize, but on your reference sheet, you'll see it doesn't tell you what everything stands for. So what you are going to need to know is what all those pieces do. So we see this A out in front here. This A is standing for a number, okay? It's saying if that number has an absolute value that's bigger than 1, it's a vertical stretch on the graph, which makes the graph more narrow. And then if the A is less than 1, meaning it's like 1/2 or 0.7 or 2/5 or something like that, it's something between 0 and 1, it's going to do a vertical shrink, which means the graph actually gets wider. So if this were your parent function, you guys talked about parent functions yesterday, this is the original x squared graph. When your graph has an a value that is something greater than 1, so for example, if it was 2x squared, this being the a, your graph gets vertically stretched, so it becomes more narrow. If the function had an a value that was something less than 1, like 1/2, it would look like this, and it would get wider. Okay. The h value that's inside the parentheses, if it says x plus h, it shifts the graph to the left, which you guys practiced yesterday. And if it says x minus h, it shifts the graph to the right. Okay, on the outside, there's a k value. On the outside, when it says plus k, so plus some number, that moves the graph up. And when it says minus some number, it moves the graph down. This reflection thing, it's like we want it, this negative here is like if this a value is negative. Okay, it's if the a value is negative. And this reflection over the y-axis is talking about if the x on the inside here is negative. Okay. So we are going to look at these examples. This function here doesn't really look like this. There's no h value, there's no k value, there's no parentheses. This is the same thing as if I said x plus 0 squared minus 1. I'm sorry, there is a k value. It's right here. Okay, so there's no h value. So for this graph, nothing is happening moving left or right. The only thing that's happening is that the graph is moving down 1, because on the outside it says minus 1. For this graph, the only thing that's changed from x squared is that there's a negative out in front. The negative is out in front, like this one, so this is going to be a reflection over the x-axis. That means your graph's going to go like this. That's what a reflection means. Okay. This problem, inside the parentheses, there's a +1. Our rule up here says if it's inside the parentheses, it goes left. So this is going to go left 1. And then there's a +5 on the outside, so that's like the k. And a plus k means it goes up. So up 5. Right, number 4. This negative is out in front, so it's like this one. It reflects. And then this says -2, and the -2 is inside, like the h. So when it says x minus 2, it goes right. So right 2. Okay, when we shift these graphs left and right, it changes where the vertex is. So this graph here has -1. This means right 1, and +2 means up 2. So if I had a graph, that means I have to go right 1, up 2 to find my vertex. Because this is a positive function, there is no negative out in front. I know my graph is going to open up or smile, right? So I know it's going to look like this. Where is my vertex? My vertex is at 1, 2. The line of symmetry is the x value of the vertex, which you guys already know that, so it's x equals 1. My parabola opens up. When my parabola opens up, the bottom of the graph is the minimum. Okay. When a parabola opens up like this vertex is a minimum. When the parabola opens down like this, the vertex is a maximum. Determine the coordinates of the vertex and circle whether it's a max or a min. So first of all, I'm looking at this and there is not a negative sign out in front. So I know my graph's going to look like this. It's going to smile. This -4, according to our rules, means we go right 4. And this +3 means up 3. So on my graph, if I move right 4, that's +4, and up 3 is +3. My graph is opening up, so this is a minimum. Okay, number 7. When I look at this function, there is a negative here. That tells me my graph opens down. Okay. This 2 that's out in front is like the A value that's out in front. It doesn't change where your vertex is. It only impacts how narrow or wide your graph is. So that 2 does not change my vertex. This 1 on the inside tells me it goes left 1. So if I'm moving left 1, that's -1. I don't have a K value out here. It's like saying +0. So my Y value of my vertex is 0 because I'm not going up or down at all. Because this opens down, that's a maximum.